Hi and welcome to this tutorial of OpenZoo. Llama 3 has just dropped, but soon the next model is around the corner. Meaning you will have to upgrade and change lines and lines of code, doing lots of manual workflows. And that is where OpenZoo comes in. We want to abstract away all of that work, making it super easy, not just to upgrade to the latest model, but also to abstract away all of these common workflows that go with it. Today we have two versions of the product. We have an easy-to-use API for developers that you can use today, and we show it in a second. And we also have or will soon have an enterprise version for engineering teams and data teams to keep track of the chaos that open source LLMs can be, especially as you have more and more use cases using LLMs in your organization. Quick sneak preview, we will also have a carbon emissions report and help you keep carbon emissions to an absolute limit, but that is topic for another day, another video. So let's go into the demo right now.
Okay. So the way OpenZoo makes it easy to work with open source LLMs is, first of all, we use the OpenAI client out of the box. All you need to do is change the base URL to our base URL, and of course, change the API key to the OpenZoo API key. The second thing that we do is, this is a standard OpenAI chat invocation where you would normally specify a model name. In OpenZoo, what you specify is what we call a spec. So a spec is something like you want to have a chat inference, you would like to use a medium-sized model, maybe you want to use a long context model, and you want to ensure that this is a safe inference that you want to perform. If you do this, what happens is, we route this model to Mixtral 8 into 7 billion parameter model because you specified you wanted a medium-sized model with a long context. This was also deemed to be a safe inference and allowed to continue. So let me demonstrate that first and then unpack the rest of the spec. Suppose I made this tell me a joke about Indians, which is what I happen to be. Then what happens is our circuit breaker actually kicks in because you specified safe, and the message is flagged as inappropriate and inference is not allowed to continue. So with just this one term, you are able to basically write safety into your inference. Let me revert this to unicorns. This, maybe here you specify that you want a long context model, but maybe you have a very large piece of text that you want to work with or a massive prompt. You can then change this to extra large model, in which case the inference will be routed to the Mixtral 8 into 22 billion parameter model, which has got a very large context window. So a spec basically allows you to do this and many other upcoming features, which aim to basically remove lines of code and a lot of boilerplate around the common workflows that are generated when working with LLMs. Just for completion, we can see that we do streaming inference. And here you'll notice that I only specified chat, and OpenZoo defaults to a small model in this scenario. As far as task types are concerned, we already saw the chat use case. Summarization is a common use case. So maybe you have a small piece of text you want summarized, and let's say this is not a cognitively complex task, so you can just use an extra small model and save some budget on doing these summarizations. OpenZoo will then run this inference on Google's Llama 2 billion parameter model and save you a lot of costs in this use case. You can specify something like math, or let's look at an example of coding. So let's say this is a hypothetical SQL query that you need written, which finds some product category from the last quarter and orders the sales in descending order. So all you need to say is, please give me a code model and let it be, let's say in this scenario, a small model, because you don't think this is a very complex query to generate. In which case, OpenZoo will do this with code Llama 7 billion parameter model, and it provides you with just the SQL that you need and nothing else. Of course, If you feel like it's slightly complex and you want a slightly stronger model to do this, then you can just say code L. And the same prompt is then run through Code Llama's 70 billion parameter model. Sometimes it's not obvious what the spec is going to be until runtime. So if you want to avoid writing spaghetti code that injects the spec at runtime, we actually have an intent classifier that can generate the spec for you. So here you see that it's a use case of Sarah planning her son's birthday party. So if you just leave the model as an empty string, our intent classifier actually guesses what sort of task this is. And here it uses Llama's 3 billion, Llama 3, the 8 billion parameter model to solve this task, the latest model. We, of course, don't want to take control away where you need control. So for the same query, if you decide, no, I want this to be answered by Mixtral 8 into 7b, you simply specify the exact model that you need and all the other parameters that the client accepts. And that's what will be used to perform the query. So it's the same prompt, Sarah's planning her birthday party, except this time it was run by the 8 into 7 billion parameter model as you instructed. So where are these specs being generated? How are they being controlled? This is done with a policy editor, which is the upcoming enterprise solution that we're developing. You can select which models you want to install. You can have the models installed, and then you can actually come up with your own spec definitions. So you can create these categories, and you can decide which models should be in which category, and basically take complete control of the way in which LLMs are used in your organization. An upcoming feature will also be the ability to create the API keys for your users inside your organization, along with limits and groups, so that you can actually start taking control of the budgets involved with these LLMs as well. So that is OpenZoo in a nutshell.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ram. We would love for you to try it out. We are giving $25 of credit, sorry, to anyone signing up. And we would love to hear how you're using it and send us your feedback. And for teams, we have a quick workshop that we'd love to give. So please do get in touch for that. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.